Hi, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to get a tyre off as easy as possible and to refit a new one. First thing we have to do is let out the air, which I've already done on this one. Second, we have to break the bead, which is unseating the bead of the tyre off the rim. So you can see that this tyre is well seated. You can see the line of the tyre parallel with the rim all the way around. The way that we unseat the tyre is by pushing the bead into the middle. And that's a little bit difficult on this tyre because there's an insert in it. Normally you can just push with your thumb and get it off the rim. Push it downwards into the middle of the wheel. Because this one's got an insert, it's quite difficult. So I'm going to help myself and use a tyre lever rather than break my thumbs. I'm doing this on the floor so I can use my weight to make it easy for myself. Hold the wheel in place with my knee and just push the bead of the tyre into the middle of the rim. Now it doesn't immediately feel like or sound like it's doing anything, but as I go round you can hear the bead squeaking or cracking as I go round. I'm going to make life easier for myself by using my special tool. There you go. So I'm just using my weight to push the bead into the middle of the rim and underneath the insert. You can actually see the sidewalls of the tyre going a little bit baggy. It's a great sign that this tyre is going to be easier to get off than it would be otherwise. There we go. So I've gone all the way around. Now the bead is off the rim, off the edge of the rim anyway, and it tucked in the middle underneath the insert. Gives me a lot more extra space to get the hook of my tyre lever in. To get the tyre lever in, I just pull the tyre and the insert over. Look, it's offering the edge already, and I just stick it under. Now at this point, some people will try and get a second tyre lever in, which is actually quite difficult. The easiest thing to do is, again, use your weight to just push down on the tyre lever or pull up on the tyre lever and just slide it round. Just pulls the bead off all the way around. Nice and easy. So I'm going to change this tyre. I'm going to reuse this insert, assuming it's in good condition. There we go. There's the sweaty insert. This is why I'm doing this on a plastic mat. The second side of the tyre is much easier. There's no insert in the way. I can pull it off the rim much more easily, all the way around, and if necessary use a tyre lever to pull this one off exactly the same way. There we go. I'm going to clean these up before refitting. Going to give you a quick video on how to fit a new tyre onto a mountain bike wheel, tubeless with an insert and some sealant. All I've got is a tyre lever or two to give me a hand. First thing to do is with the tyre is check the rotation direction. So that's normally stamped on the sidewall. this one rotates in this direction, which is the same as the wheel. Second is to line up the rim and the lettering on the tyre. Now, different rims have their lettering in different places, so it depends what looks best with that rim. With this one, I'm actually going to do it the traditional way, which is so that the lettering is the right way up with the rim at the bottom of with the valve at the bottom of the wheel. So like that, the writing is the right way up. The first thing is to get the wheel right into the middle of the tyre, and then to get one side of the tyre on, which is for some people the easiest, for me normally the hardest. But what I do in that is get the bottom on first, use the weight of the wheel to hold the bottom of the bead in place, and then slowly work my way up, pulling the tyre over the rim, using nothing but my hands for this one, just pulling it up over. There you go. So there we have the one side of the tyre in. Then I'm going to flip it over, get the valve closest to me, and get the insert. This is an old insert, so it's a little bit scabby, but it looks good, will do the job just fine. Stick that in the tyre. Next job is to try and get the second bead on, which is always going to be the hardest, especially with an insert. What you have to do is not only lift the bead onto the rim, but really get it underneath the insert so that you have as much slack as possible to get the bead on. So I'm going to lie this flat, tuck it right in underneath my belly, just work around with my thumbs, sticking the bead in until I get about 75% round. Then I'm going to go back round and just make sure that the bead is really underneath the insert. And we're going to go up on my haunches, hold it like this, use my thumbs, make sure the insert is under. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, use a tyre lever just to really help get it underneath. And then there we go, that tyre is on. Now I haven't got any sealant in yet, but what I can do is take out the valve core and add the sealant in through there. Now I realise I might have made both of those steps look a bit easy, so I'm going to give a quick recap. Bead is off, insert is in. How to get the tyre lever under: just pull the tyre sideways with one hand, get the hook of the tyre lever underneath the bead, and it's out. And then you use your weight to either push the tyre lever around like that, or to pull it towards you like that. Done. And then to put the bead back on, start toward the closest to you, go around. You need to go around more than halfway so that it stays on by itself a little bit, and then tuck it underneath the insert. In a squat position, get it balanced on your thighs. Just go round like this, pushing the bead with your thumb. And when you get to a certain point, grab your tyre lever and maybe do the job that your thumbs were doing. Okay, I'm just pushing any slack, any excess bead You see this hand is holding this one in place. So I'm always working around in one direction. Done. There is another way to get sealant in the tyre. You don't always have to take the valve core out. And that is to just slosh a bit in the tyre before you put the bead on. That's what I'm going to try now because it's a little bit quicker, sometimes a little bit less messy. So just give the sealant a bit of a shake. Put the carefully measured recommended quantity into the tyre. Put the lid back on the sealant before I knock it over. Okay, then I'm going to get the sealant away from the hole. Let gravity take it down into the tyre. Then I'm going to do exactly the same technique on my haunches, holding the bead at one place and using a tyre lever just to pull the bead over. There we go. So now the sealant in the tyre. A little bit of overspill just on the rim. I can wipe that off. And now I'll try pumping it up. I think that this one's loose enough. I'm going to need to use a tubeless inflator. I'm going to try first of all without an inflator. I've just connected the track pump. Actually, it seems to be inflating okay. Very slowly, the side walls are pushing out. There's still air coming out where it hasn't popped on, but as I keep pumping, that bead is going to pop onto the rim, just like that. Going to keep pumping until I get about 40 psi in a big tyre like this. Make sure it's properly seated all the way around. So I can see the line all the way around the rim. It's well seated on this side. Flip it over. I can see the line all the way around. It's good and even, well seated. And now I just slosh the sealant around to make sure it's doing everything it can to help seal it. Give that a spin and it should seal quite nicely. Job done.